Chapter 528. True Martial Secret, Awaiting Assistance. Xiaohun, Blessed Land. This place was always covered in dense dark clouds, and female-shaped trees grew on the ground. These trees were very peculiar. The tree trunk was curved, and branches wrapped around each other like a girl's naked body. The trees were in all kinds of enchanting postures. Female-shaped trees grew all over the place, becoming a forest. In the deepest part of the forest was the tallest female-shaped tree, with a height of 1,000 feet and roots that extended for a range of 10,000 li. This female-shaped tree king, however, did not look seductive, instead giving off pure and holy aura. The tree king's trunk was ramrod straight, giving a highly spirited feeling. Its two enormous branches formed into hands that covered the chest. The side branches from them formed into two well-developed and large palms that lifted a green treehouse. Red vermilion fruits grew all over the treehouse with reddish-brown rattan twining around them, making the fruits look like hearts. Two immortals were sitting inside this treehouse, both in black clothes. On the left was an ordinary-looking man who was called He Tribe Stoneman. During his young age, he was awkward at conversing, but was smart and careful inside. He was Heibai. On the right side, however, was a handsome man who was radiating with vigor, having eyes that seemed to shine, and appeared confident and at ease. He was He Tribe's supreme elder, He Chung, He Lulan's father, and a famous handsome man, as well as the male lead in Sushan's night elopement. "Say, you just returned from Niyu Blessed Land? Did you see Dongfang Changfan? How is he?" He Chung asked leisurely, while taking a sip of tea. Heibai nodded. "Senior Dongfang isn't looking for lifespan gu. There is not much of his lifespan left. He can probably only live for 2-3 years more. But his vision is broad and has magnanimous conduct, already seeing through the trouble of life and death, and only wants to wholeheartedly nurture his successor, Dongfang Yuliang now." Magnanimous conduct, broad vision, He Chung scoffed, shaking his head in disdain. "Brother, you saw wrong. Dongfang Changfan is a genuine petty person. He schemed against the northern plains and is extremely insidious, and so is hated by all the Gu immortals. If it was not so, he could have already bought lifespan Gu. Why would he have fallen into this state? I have been secretly investigating over these years and have discovered he had a hand in my wife Su Xianer's death." He Chung revealed this secret information, causing Heibai to be extremely startled. "What? There was such a thing?" Heibai exclaimed in shock. Su Xianer was He Chung's wife. Over 200 years back, Su Xianer was no more than a daughter of a concubine in Su tribe, and while she poured wine for Lord He Chung back then in the banquet, He Chung immediately fell in love at first sight. In that banquet, He Chung was poisoned by Su tribe leader, his strength fell to the bottom, and he was hunted down. After Su Xianer accidentally learned of it, she resolutely rushed out of the tribe in the dead of night to rescue He Chung, whom she had only met once. At that time, Su Xianer only had rank 1 cultivation, and ferocious beasts roamed the night grassland that were beyond her ability to contend. But under the play of fate, she was able to find the unconscious He Chung. He Chung was thus saved and managed to live. He had then asked Su Xianer with suspicion, "I was plotted against by your tribe leader, and you are a Su tribesman. Why would you save an enemy of your tribe?" Su Xianer had answered, "Lord has a noble spirit. This humble girl fell in love at first sight. Su tribe leader is short-sighted and plotted against Lord under the persuasion of some petty people, but he never considered the result of offending He tribe. If he was allowed to have his way, Su tribe is destined to become a sacrificial pawn between two super tribes. People say Lord repays a favor received by 100 times. This humble girl saved Lord today, and only hopes Lord can give me a place to stay. It is just and proper for Lord to take revenge against Su tribe. But I hope Lord can be merciful and leave behind a trace of bloodline for Su tribe." The moonlight shone on the jade-like beauty with slender and fair hands. He Chung was overwhelmed at this sight. He tightly held Su Xianer's hand and swore, "Your love is as deep as the sea. I, He Chung, am not a cruel person. How could I not repay you? From today onwards, you will be my only wife." I will not care for any other beauties, no matter how beautiful they are. In this life, I will never betray you. Sushianer saving Hei Cheng was akin to betraying the tribe. Hei Cheng was very grateful and interlinked with her as husband and wife. From that day onwards, the two helped each other, loving and respecting each other their whole life. 100 years later, both became Gu immortals, becoming a story that spread far and wide in northern plains. And Sushian's night elopement was also spread wide, encouraging countless women to bravely take the initiative to love. Heibai's mood became solemn. Could it be over 20 years ago, sister-in-law did not die because of the blessed land's earthly calamity? Hei Chung scoffed. There was indeed an earthly calamity, but the earthly calamity was influenced by people. Don't forget, brother, old ancestor giant sun immortal venerable has such methods. Dongfang tribe has entered imperial court many times as a tribe with Huangjin bloodline. They might have received an inheritance relevant to such methods from 88 True Yang building. Sigh, I only have a little evidence. It is not enough to prove Dongfang Changfan as the main culprit. Heibai remained dazed for quite a while before sighing. You really can't judge people by appearance. Hei Chung patted his shoulder and comforted in a gentle voice. Brother, you have become a Gu immortal for less than 10 years. Gu immortal's circle might not be big, but the treacherous conspiracies inside it are much deeper than between mortals. Heibai was just about to speak when his expression blanked. Hei Lu Lan has sent a letter. Hei Chung nodded, and with a shift of his mind, loosened the defense over Yao Hun. Blessed land by a little, the space opened up, and in flew a butterfly. Heibai stretched his right hand. This butterfly fluttered and gently landed on his palm. This was rank 5 butterfly letter Gu. Heibai closed his eyes and concentrated on the butterfly letter Gu from Hei Lu Lan, containing his request. What is it? Did that disappointing child of mine ask you for help again? When Heibai opened his eyes, Hei Chung snorted and asked with a displeased tone. Heibai forced a smile. Brother, Hei Lu Lan is you and sister-in-law Sushaner's son. Although sister-in-law suffered and fell seriously ill when giving birth to Hei Lu Lan, leading to her strength being greatly diminished, and thus passing away in the earthly calamity several years later. The child is still innocent. You should not disregard him because of it. You even gave him to the 27th concubine, Fairy Jiang Yu, to adopt, and did not allow him to light an incense to pay respects to his own mother. Hei Chung snorted with dissatisfaction, but did not argue. Heibai sighed. This is your family affair, and it is truly not my place to meddle. But I have given a lot of thoughts to Big Brother's actions. You sent Hei Lu Lan to be adopted by the childless Fairy Jiang Yu in order to preserve Hei Lu Lan's life through her immortal Gu Dark limit. Hei Lu Lan has a 10 extreme physique, great strength, true martial. To stimulate his spirit, you gave him a condition that as long as he advanced to Gu Immortal, he could light the incense for his mother. Little brother deeply admire your actions. But big brother, your way of doing things will only deepen the misunderstandings between father and son. It is not a good method looking at the long-term drawbacks. Hei Chung heaved a sigh, not replying Heibai, but instead asked, what did that child mention in the request? Heibai clapped his palm and smiled. Look, big brother, you showed indifference, but you still care about nephew's safety in your heart. Nephew hopes we can prepare a mutated wolf group and also a rank 5 lurking soul coat Gu. This kid is truly insolent. Lurking soul coat Gu is okay, but our Hei tribe does not have mutated wolf group. Right now, our Hei tribe is battling Lu tribe. Lu tribe's current generation tribe leader, Lu Wenwu, is not someone who can be underestimated. Back then, the inheritance of Harmony Immortal fell in his hand. He has 2 sworn brothers. Both are fierce warriors and can match 10,000 soldiers. However, nephew Lu Lan also has a great general under him, Wolf King Chang Shan Yin. This time's request is because he has placed his hopes on Chang Shan Yin, Heibai explained. Hei Chung mumbled, rank 5 lurking soul coat Gu is no issue. I have one with me. But mutated wolf group would have to be purchased from Treasure Yellow Heaven. I will have to request brother for this. Heibai quickly shook his hand. Brother, you don't have to be so polite. I still need to rely on nephew to enter imperial court and find immortal Gu Wooden Chicken in 88 True Yang Building. Hei Chung heaved a long sigh and said with an exhausted voice, "Great strength. True martial physique needs a strength path immortal Gu to advance to Gu immortal realm. Unfortunately, immortal Gu are very difficult to find. Our Hei tribe also does not have any strength path immortal Gu. Success and failure is decided by heaven. We can only try our best. We have already done all we can. Now everything will depend on Hei Lulan's efforts and luck." Parents are truly constantly worrying about their children. Hei Bai sighed inwardly and said his farewell to Hei Chung. After he returned to his Kumu blessed land, he immediately connected to Treasure Yellow Heaven and started buying mutated wolves. Wolf emperors could be considered as a strength of blessed land. It was very hard to find Gu immortals selling them, but mutated wolves were only equivalent to rank 4 and were much easier to find. Hei Bai was not worried. Mutated beasts were not rare and precious goods, and as long as one had sufficient immortal essence stones, they could buy a large group of them. Of course, spending a lot to buy the mutated wolf group was a loss to Hei Bai, but he was planning for an immortal Gu in 88 True Young Building, and it was right for him to invest in the early stages. Imperial Court Blessed Land was the work of Giant Sun Immortal Venerable, and unless one reached rank 9, no Gu immortals could enter inside. After the news of buying mutated wolf group in high price was spread, Hei Bai soon received a divine sense from someone called Fox Immortal. Fox Immortal had over 100 mutated wolves and quoted a rather high price for them. They were clearly taking advantage of Hei Bai's difficulty. Hei Bai had already anticipated such a situation. It was only that he had not expected this Fox Immortal to move so quickly at the chance. He gnashed his teeth and bought this group of mutated wolves. The one selling this group of mutated wolves was none other than Little Hu Immortal, who had received Fang Yuan's instructions. Previously, they had resold immortal Gu recipes and earned dozen or so immortal essence stones. Fang Yuan had then instructed Little Hu Immortal to purchase purple crystal relic Gu and also look for any wolf groups that sold cheaply at Treasure Yellow Heaven and buy them. Thus, Hu Immortal Blessed Land had accumulated over 100 mutated wolves. Among them were Blood Forest Wolf, Berserk Wolf, Sharkfin Wolf, White Eyes Wolf, and others. Now, by reselling these mutated wolves at high price to Hei Bai, they had profited quite a bit. As for Fang Yuan, he was calmly resting in the camp, waiting for Hei Tribe's assistance.